How can you actually develop magnetic charisma? See, growing up, I was the opposite of charismatic. I was shy, insecure, lacked communication skills, and struggled socially. So, how is it that I've gone on to develop magnetic charisma, being able to make friends or attract girls anywhere I go? Well, it all comes down to these three things that I'm going to teach you in this video that will instantly allow you to develop magnetic charisma. So if you want to develop magnetic charisma, the first thing you're going to need to do is develop good listening skills and being present in the conversation that you're currently having. So I'm going to show you how you can develop both verbal and nonverbal communication skills that show that you're actually present and listening in this conversation you're having. See, to tell you the importance of this, everyone wants to feel listened to. Think of the last time you were in a conversation and the person's looking off in the distance, or they're looking at their phone, or you asked them a question relating to what you said and they had no idea what you were talking about. How did that make you feel? It happens to me all the time, and I just feel like I don't want to talk to this person anymore. And so that's exactly the opposite of charismatic. When you show presence, warmth, and you actually listen to the things that people say, they're gonna love you so much more than if you were just having a regular conversation, being like everyone else whose mind is wandering. They're just waiting for their turn to insert whatever they want to say. So how do you actually show verbally and non-verbally that you're listening and you're present? Well, it comes down to a couple of different things. The first thing is gonna be eye contact. And when it comes to listening, there's no such thing as too much eye contact. You can literally look at this person in the eyes 100% of the time. Now, just a quick tip, when it is your turn to speak, I would recommend loosening up that eye contact a little bit. You can look off in the distance. There's a little trick, which is just looking direct, kind of just to the side of the person's eyes. So if you were to kind of be in conversation, you can just look like this to the side for a second or two, and then come back to them, breaking that eye contact, not keeping it so pressured, keeping your eyes like locked on them while you're talking. And that can make it ease up a little bit. And then when it actually comes to your eyes, like what they're physically doing, you don't want to just be someone who's like staring with a hollow look in your eyes. When you have eye movement, that shows that you're actively engaged. So one thing you can do is just look between the two eyes, right? So you look at this eye, you look at this eye, and you can shift between the two like that, and that will create eye movement showing that you're actively engaged. But this also happens naturally if you're just really interested in the conversation and paying attention. The next thing is going to be body language. When you're actively engaged in a conversation and you're present, your body will be facing this other person down to your actual feet. So if your feet are pointed away, and this is a quick tip too, for if you're having a conversation, if someone's feet are pointing away in a conversation, they do not want to be there. And this is even more obvious if their body is pointed away and they're barely even looking at you with their head turned. They don't want to be talking to you. So the best thing you can do is physically show that you want to be here in this conversation, pointing your body towards this person, and then adding that with the eye contact, right? So that's going to be a huge one, is showing that you actually want to be there and that you're present, that you're listening to this person with not just your eyes, but also your body. And then the next thing is going to be the vocal and verbal reassurances. So when you're in this conversation, you can say things like, don't do it too much, but you can say things like, yeah, or or just be present. Head nods are important. If you nod your head, these little things will show that you're actively engaged, whereas you don't want to be, like we said, that hollow figure that's just there staring at the person. Just show that you're actively interested in this conversation, but that's one thing you can take too far. You don't want to also interject into people's trains of thoughts. Being silent is sometimes going to be better than having too many, yeahs or uh-huhs and all that stuff, but it's something that you can use with your intuition as it feels necessary. Sometimes if they're kind of looking at you with a sense of, wanting some reassurance, if they feel like they need that, you can give them that little or yeah, or I agree, yeah, 100%, and then allow them to continue talking. But head nods is probably going to be one of the best things on top of the eye contact and really just eye movement to show that you're actively listening. So that's going to be the first step, is being present and showing that you're listening through all those little tricks. That is going to do so much for you. Just that one thing is going to make you 10 times more charismatic. Once you've developed presence and listening skills, this next aspect is going to make people absolutely adore you, and that is acceptance. I want you to think of the last time you had a conversation with someone and they didn't throw any judgment your way. All they did was accept you for who you are, your beliefs, your opinions, your thoughts. They encouraged you to speak more on them. They were open to hearing them, and they wanted to actually learn about you, and they constantly just reaffirmed that everything you were saying was good, was cool, was all this stuff. You probably love this person. When I give that example, there's two people that come to mind. One of them is my best friend from my hometown in New York. He's always on my side. Even if I were to do the most heinous crime, he would be like, nah, bro, you're right. They did something wrong. Or, he'd be on my side no matter what. And no matter what I'd say, he always just kind of gives me, that acceptance that most people crave and are looking for. And another is this girl who I met about 2 years ago at this point, and she was just this crazy fun party girl. But one thing she would never do is she would never pass judgment. She always wanted people to feel very accepted, be able to express themselves, be who they are. And she was always encouraging you to speak about your dreams or anything like that. And those two people are very charismatic in my eyes because of the acceptance that they brought to the conversation, especially that girl. She was also a great listener. She was very present in the conversations, and she had the acceptance. Those were some very, very charismatic traits that she had, and that's one thing she 100% was. She was a very charismatic girl. So when it comes to showing acceptance, one of the best things that you can do is smile, right? When you're smiling, that's a good sign that you're showing people. And on top of that, it's just encouraging them to speak about their opinions, their dreams, their aspirations, giving them verbal reassurances like, oh, wow, that's so awesome. Tell me more. Yeah, that's great. I love that idea. Or just giving them things like that, little compliments. Wow, that's an amazing thought or idea, or whatever it is. You're just constantly reassuring them, giving them that acceptance that they're looking for. And this is going to make people absolutely adore you. I promise it's going to be a game changer for you. If you're present and you're accepting, people are really gonna like you. But this last element is going to make you a charismatic weapon, and everyone is going to love you and think you're the most charismatic person they've ever met. And that's gonna be admiration and appreciation. You need to be quick to give praise and compliments to people. When I think of some of the most charismatic people I met and the people who I really liked upon a quick first impression, it was the people who gave me a compliment early on. So there's one guy who comes to mind, a friend in Sweden, and one of the things every time I saw him, he would be complimenting my clothing. He would be like, oh, that's a nice fresh polo. I see you got on, you're looking sharp. He'd speak to my dreams. He'd be like, bro, you're gonna crush it with the girls tonight, looking fresh like that. And he drew out those positive emotions through compliments, praise, and all these things. And I really like the guy. He's a cool guy. He's fun to be around. He gets, girls. He helps you get girls. There's nothing more charismatic than giving people compliment and praise and making them feel good about themselves. So that's one thing you should be always looking to do as much as possible, is give genuine, sincere compliments and praise to people for anything small or large. So if you throw all three of these things in together, if you just start simply applying these steps one at a time, you start being more present, you listen to people when they're speaking. If you start giving appreciation, admiration for people, if you start accepting them for who they are and their thoughts, opinions, and beliefs, you are going to be absolutely loved and the most charismatic person that anyone could wish to be around. And it's really that simple, but these traits will do so much. So if you can really just digest these and apply them, your life is going to change. So if this video provided you with any value, go ahead and subscribe to this channel. On here, I'm going to be teaching you how to become the ultimate man, getting better in every single aspect of your life. So if that sounds of interest, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next video.